So, I found this evolvepolitics.com website, alternative media, independent from corporate media. Having read a few articles, I can already tell this is a progressive, left-leaning platform. This is a UK-based and focused platform, so obviously now the focus is very much on the upcoming general election. Yeah. There's a fairly scathing attack on this site on Tony Blair by a writer called Tom Barker, and there's an interesting article by a Chris Turnbull addressing what he sees as the BBC's bias against Corbyn, where he calls into question the independence and impartiality of the Institute for Fiscal Studies. If you go and look at the history and founding of the IFS and those who support it today, for me, it sets alarm bells ringing. Non-political, independent, I'm not convinced. I'll leave a link in the description to this site, Evolve Politics, and I encourage you to give it a look. Seems like good stuff to me. As I said in my last video, the talk is of a landslide Tory victory. Many voices from the party of the establishment seem very confident that this election is the equivalent of an open goal in football. They can't miss. I was reading a blog on the Huffington Post UK by Joseph Finlay a couple of days ago. He seems to think a hung parliament is, quote, a definite possibility. But certain things have to happen. The Liberal Democrats have to win back their seats that they lost at the last election. The Lib Dems aren't the party of the coalition anymore, they are the party of Stop Hard Brexit. We want Britain to remain in the single market. This appeals to many voters. They could make a significant comeback this time around. Another factor, SNP remains dominant in Scotland. Highly likely, I would think. Now, if UKIP could put in a fairly good show, it might take votes away from the Tories in certain constituencies, which may well help Labour. If voter fatigue is a factor, it could hurt the Tories. We've had a general election and a big referendum in the past couple of years. It's possible some may vote with their feet and stay home. But in truth, this could be harmful to all parties. Now, if Labour can win as many seats as last time, maybe they have a few losses here, a few gains there, but roughly, let's say they get around 230 seats. That could spell very bad news for the Tories. Perhaps we might see some tactical voting in constituencies where left-wing parties could topple a Tory candidate. If, say, Lib Dem supporters switch to vote for Labour in a certain constituency, or vice versa. Yeah. So, as the author sees it, maybe best case scenario for the left, a Labour, Lib Dem, SNP alliance against the Tories, securing a narrow victory. Could these parties work together in an effective UK government? Difficult, but not impossible. even though certain voices might rule it out before an election, in the event of a hung parliament, certain leaders should, I strongly suggest, have to behave like grown-ups and recognise that compromises sometimes have to be made for the greater good. Now, in spite of what the polls are saying, in spite of what this person or that person's saying, we don't know what's going to happen in June. Yeah. In the age of fast food media with rumours and fake news flying around, yeah, things could be running very smoothly 1 minute and then, boom, political scandal. The Tories have tried to trivialise this expenses, rule-breaking, overspending from the last election, but it keeps being brought up. Maybe something else will come to light as we move closer to election day. My advice is simply, don't let yourself, you the voter, don't get caught up in the soap opera or the drama, the rumours, the bullshit. Look at the manifestos of the various parties. Look at what they're offering. In doing this, you may well come back to a fundamental question. What kind of society do I want to live in? Increased investment in infrastructure, creating new jobs, building more than 1 million homes in 5 years, increasing affordable home ownership, and expanding private tenants' rights, strengthening workers' rights, creating a living wage, funding the NHS better, publicly funding the NHS, creating a new national education service, a pledge to fulfil the Paris Climate Agreement, a pledge to build a truly progressive tax system, real action on reducing inequality. And how about a foreign policy which focuses on human rights and social justice? Labour's vision sounds considerably better than what we've had from the Conservatives over the past 7 years. That's an understatement. We have a golden opportunity here to turn Britain into a progressive country with far better prospects for peace and stability. I'll see you later, ladies and gents. Take it easy.